In this video, we are going to go over how to solve a multi-step equation involving decimals by clearing out those decimals. In a previous video, we went over how to solve a multi-step equation involving decimals, but we just use a calculator, and that's still cool. This is an alternative method to solving an equation, again, involving decimals. So like when we cleared out fractions in a previous video, we need to multiply by some kind of number on both sides of the equation to clear out decimals. Well, what number? It basically comes down to this idea. We want to make sure that we don't have decimals in any of these numbers here in 0.2, 4.2, or 7.8. So we wish that we could move the decimal point one place to the right in each of these numbers. That would get rid of the decimals completely. Well, what number do I have to multiply by so that we move a decimal place once to the right? 10. 10 would do that. So I'm going to multiply both sides of my equation, of course both sides, right? To keep everything equivalent, both sides of the equation by 10. So put a parentheses here and multiply by 10 and then multiply this by 10. So if I multiply by 10 on the left side, of course I've got to use the distributive property. So we distribute once, twice over here. So I've got 10 times 0.2, right? So that's, and I'm going to write out the work. 10 times 0.2b minus sign 10 times 4.2. And that is equivalent to 7.8 times 10. So I'm just going to copy that right down here. Some of you might be able to do this step and the next step all in one, and that's fine. And that's the goal, to eventually get to being a little simpler with doing our math out. Now, if I multiply 0.2 by 10, I will get 2. Why? Two reasons. You've got 2 tenths times 10, it clears out the tenths and gives you 2, or the other way of looking at it is, I move the decimal point 1 tens place, right? Every one place is a multiple of 10 when I multiply by 10, and so that's going to be 2b minus, I'm going to move the decimal point again, one place to the right, and that gives me 42. And you might say, that gives me 42 times 10. The action of multiplying by 10 moves the decimal point one place to the right. And that is equivalent to 7.8 times 10, again, I'll move the decimal point one place to the right, and so that is going to be 78. And there we have it. We now have a equation where there is absolutely no decimals, or are absolutely no decimals. So now I'm going to solve the equation like a normal two-step. I'm going to undo the order of operations in reverse, so subtraction is the first thing I have to undo. I would have to add 42 to get rid of subtraction. I do the same operation to both sides. I notice that minus 42 and 42 cancel out, which is what we wanted. I'm left with 2 times b is equal to 78 plus 42. Use a calculator or hopefully your brain or a little bit of side work, but that is going to be equal to 120 no matter how you do it, as long as you do it correctly. So now all we're going to do is divide both sides by 2 to undo 2 times b. The 2's divide out, leaving us with b is equivalent to 60. And as usual, you would check your answer in the original equation, which was the equation with decimals, and you will see that you'll get a true statement. It's a beautiful thing. So multiply through by the number that will change every decimal involved in the equation to being not a decimal. You're basically saying, how many places do I have to move that decimal point? And that's the number of zeros you're using in a number you're multiplying by. All because we understand decimal rules. And if you don't, there are videos for that in earlier courses for sure. Okay, so we've got negative 3.95x plus 0.5 is equal to negative 7.4. Again, we could solve this with a calculator, or we could clear out the fractions. Not fractions. I was thinking of decimals as fractions. We could clear out the decimals. Okay, so we have 2 decimal places here that I need to move, so I'd need to multiply this by 100. This would only need to get multiplied by 10, but I can't just pick and choose what to multiply by. If I multiply this by 100, I must multiply the whole equation by 100. So this must get multiplied by 100. This, although it only needs 1 decimal place slide to change into not a non-decimal, I again will be multiplying by 100, and that will make that not a decimal as well. So whatever decimal point movements are the most number of decimal points, that's the number you need to multiply by. So 2 decimal places is the most movements we need, so we have to multiply by 100 to make that happen for this. You can't pick and choose what to multiply by, or you unbalance the equation. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 100, or 100. And there we have it. And now I'm going to distribute, much like I did in the previous problem. like so. 100 times negative 3.95. I'm going to write that out. And then there's an x there, plus 100 times 0.5. 100 times 0.5. And that's equal to, I'm going to do this math right here. Why not, right? I'm going to move the decimal point once 2 places to the right. That means that there's now a 0 here, right? So I'll put that work right here. Once 2 places, there will be a 0. And negative 7.4 times 100 is now 740. And of course, it's negative. All right, so now we move the decimal point once, twice to the right. That leaves us with negative 3.95. Oh, big error. Negative 395. The multiplication of 100 is the decimal movement. And we then have plus 100 times 0.5. Move the decimal point 2 places to the right. 1, 2. Add that 0. We end up with 50. So just to be clear, I'm showing the work on this step, but the results are coming down on this next step. So it's not like we should be doing 100 times 50. Doing the 100 times 0.5 gives us 50. All right, what we have left is a nice, simple 2-step equation. I'm going to undo the addition by subtracting by 50, or 50 if you're feeling funky. We see that the plus 50 and minus 50 cancel. That leaves us with negative 395x. And that's equal to negative 740 minus 50 is negative 790. And last but certainly not least, we will undo multiplication by division of that number, being negative 395, and we've got to do it to both sides. Negative 395. And so that leaves us with x is equivalent to 790 negative divided by negative 395. You can plug it in your calculator or into your brain, and it ends up equaling 2. And of course, to check your answer, you'd have to plug 2 into the original equation, and you will see you will get the correct answer. That's it, peeps. Clear out those decimals or use a calculator to solve it, as I showed in a previous video. The alternative method of clearing out decimals is a cool method. Whether you use it or not, that's up to you. I think it's pretty rad.